guys, today I'm just going to teach you how to scrap a motherboard. So this is a motherboard you get from a TV. You can see it's quite a few chips. So these are IC chips, so they usually have gold and stuff in them. You can see these little buggers here. There's the MLCs. Now MLCs have platinum, which is pretty sweet, you know. You can actually see here as well the contact pins. So anything that has contact pins, like plugs and stuff, like they usually have gold because it's a conductor. This is quite nice usually, but if I was to buy this off you, or if you want to process it for yourself to sell someone close to you, you'd need to make sure you take all the metal parts off, because when they smelt this, the metal can actually affect the grade of the material you get when you pull it back from, you know, the foundry. So the foundry will melt this down, but this can actually dilute the beautiful gold that we're trying to get. So that's something to think about. So you have to take all these off, okay? And these are heat sinks, so these keep the heat down. And underneath these you have like processor chips, so two there, you can see there. This is extruded aluminium. So extruded aluminium is a bit worth a bit more than your regular aluminium, but you can keep that, because here I've kept loads of heat sinks, as you can see. Some bigger computer heat sinks, stuff off old TVs, you know, stuff like that. And it comes in cool patterns as well. So yeah, look, see, Gigabyte. I like that one. Quite pimping. So yeah, it's not worth too much a kilo. 90 cents a kilo usually, but all adds up. You know, I've got a little bit more there as well. So it's extruded because it's machined aluminium, and recyclers pay more for it for some reason. So yeah, see what you want to do. I'm just using flathead screwdriver here. He's very powerful. It's like force hammer for this stuff, because you know you can just get underneath components and pull them apart. You'll just do it before and after. Okay guys, I've had a bit of coffee, so I'm feeling a bit better now. I love to listen to some like techno coding music that sounds like the 80s, you know, gets me in the mood for destroying the technology of yesteryear. Anyway, let's have a look. I'll show you what we've got now. So, as you can see, I've absolutely destroyed these component points. So once you destroy them with these bad boys, tin snips, every scrapper needs a pair of tin snips. Cut through like microwaves, everything. And if you see over there, there's an old school Xbox panel. The Xbox was destroyed like water damage, but I was able to take it apart using these bad boys. So Dan 1, Microsoft 0, thanks to these. So we basically just cut these off. And we're left with pieces of plastic, and then there's these. I mean, you can go through and pull them all off. It's probably a good idea. Find bits of brass as well, so there's little black brass and components. And even the end parts here, so these are brass. And the way you can tell, I've repurposed this lovely magnet here from a speaker. If it sticks, if it's magnetic, see, it's not sticking. Brass is not magnetic. So, non-stick. But if we look at steel, boom. So that's how you can tell. So this should be classed as dirty brass, so you can keep these. So it's always good to check. I have a little box for my brass, so I'm just going to knock them in there. No, it's not a lot, but it all adds up. So where the heat sinks used to be, you can see that there's a nice big fat IC chip there. I took a little bit off there, but it's okay. And you can see a lot of IC chips that have the actual gold in the corner. There's a nice for us. What a lot of people overlook though is things like this, you know, see that IC chip's got gold pins on there, and the connector points as well. Things like this, they're nice. And also over there too, there's loads of MLC chips. So how would you grade this board? I'd say this is a mid-grade, because anything that has metal on it like that and this stuff on the side is mid-grade. We have to remove it, you know. But on the other end we got some IC chips as well, so double-sided is always good. And look, all them MLC chips, so that's loads of platinum there. So you'd say it's a high-end mid-grade. And you know, if you come to me with a few of these, we might be able to work out a different price for high-end and low-end versions of each grading. So you can have a low-end mid-grade or high-end mid-grade or just a normal mid-grade, and we can try and work something out there. That was actually from an old plasma. Just destroyed it yesterday. I'll do a few more of these as well and just give you an idea. But what I actually did for the heat sinks, I used a force hammer. Not really force hammer, but mystical tool called the flathead screwdriver. You just angle it underneath and pop it. And as for these plastic things, I use the tin snips to cut. And then you want some long-headed pliers. These are really nice. It's always good to do that. But I want to show you some more examples. Okay, so let's get onto it. I'm going to show you before and after. So we've done that one. I want to get you one with something called capacitors on it. That's high grade because there's no metal on it. It also has, look at that, there's gold contact pins, loads of MLCs, a nice IC chip with the gold corner, so that's high grade, even there as well, and another connector slot. This came off a photocopier, like an office printer. It was huge. We had 4 of these, so it's very high grade. Not really double-sided, but it's medium high grade. But these things here, it is high grade, but what we do need to do, we'll have to take these off here, because this is just like ribbon wire. Instead of having to run loads of bulky cable, they can just use this stuff to connect, which is quite clever. But you'd have to take this out. I keep this as well, because on the ends, you see that it's gold flashed. So you can keep them in a bag. That's what I do. Take this one off as well. And see, there's the gold connector points there, which is cool. Now these buggers, these are called capacitors. And what a capacitor basically does, if there's a power surge in this circuit of a opponent, say on this motherboard, it gets overloaded with force hammer. There's too much electric, so basically what this acts as is an electrical reservoir. So instead of the whole thing exploding into a molten mess, it will just go into one of these and just fry one of these little things instead. It's basically made out of, I think it's aluminium, and there's some packing inside. The problem with these though is we can't have these on when we get them processed, because they just muddy the waters on the grades that we can expect. Some people will take off all the MLCs, they'll take off all the IC chips, and you can do that, and I'm thinking of doing that myself, but it takes time. I think you need an air hammer tool, and you need a compressor and also do that. And one of my mentors, E-Waste Ben, does that, and I think he does it pretty well. Keeps it in a little jar. I just don't have the time at the moment, but I know these as well. Diamond capacitor, they're nice. I think they've got silver, so keep a look out for them. Those are good. Don't remove those. What we really want to remove are these capacitors, okay? And there is a lithium ion battery there. I can't really see that. But you want to remove that force hammer. And it pops out. I'll just throw them aside. You never know when lithium's going to get scarce in the future. I'll just keep it. So I'll show you how to just take off one of these. You'll get boards that are full of these though. It's absolutely full of them. So I'll get this narrow-headed pliers. Okay, it's aim for this one. So I'm just coordinate this one, holding it. So just pull it. There you go. The infection has been removed. So yeah, we just do that with all of them. And there's a big chunky one. See, I've got a whole bucket of those ones. There's bigger ones as well, and I can show you how to remove them. I'm just going to process this and show you after, and I'll give you some more examples as well. So as you can see, I've taken off all the capacitors and just left with these little aluminium legs. So they're off. That's processed now, ready to go. Okay, so that was a normal high-end board. Pop that over there. So this here, if you ever see these, you will find these. These are called power boards, and these are actually there, to power your basic appliances. You've got your Tesla coils. And I'll just take all these off because these are nice. Look at that, I keep these. I mean, it doesn't add up too much. One of these jars is like half a kilo once you process it all, but it all adds up, and I just like to mess around with stuff like that, so I'll just keep it. Stuff like that. And you can see there's a big spool of copper there. See? And there's a fat capacitor there. It's a big electrical sink. There's the contact plugs. And then just steel though. But I do keep the wire. And look, there's a bag full of all the electrical wire. And I'll keep a bucket of it as well. Where I live, they only pay you about 70 cents a kilo. But like I said, it all adds up. Okay. So, you've got these big pieces of metal. They're usually attached to that. Those are IC chips, but depends. Look at the drawer. Like sometimes you can take it off, other times it's just welded down. So you're out of luck there. I mean, usually not much money in low grade. I try and avoid it, but if you get it, you just take the copper off. I'll still buy low grade. It's just like, I'll probably only buy it with the copper on it, to be fair though. It's just an average one. You can see there's a lot of capacitors on it. There's not many IC chips. I mean, there's these tags. I think they've got silver in them. Or there's a different material. It's still worthwhile. Switches there. You've seen there's copper ends on the end, which is okay. So there's still some value in them, but nowhere near as good as your high grade, your mid grade boards. And your mid grade and your high grade are usually green, whereas you can see the backdrop of this is actually like an orangey 70s looking wallpaper, like a 70s brown. You can get green ones as well, but you'll tell that they're low grade. The low grade ones will have loads of metal on it, not many IC chips. These bad boys here, you know, no MLCs. They just have lots of metal and lots of capacitors. So that's how you can tell. But if you're always unsure, come and see me and I'll help you grade that. And I just use Orr's tool, the flathead screwdriver. This thing is powerful. E-Waste Ben showed me how powerful this thing was. I didn't believe it at first, but it takes everything off. Look, can do this right. Just gotta get leverage on it. That's what it's about. Maybe don't leverage it off this thing though, because I know these have gas in them. I'll just get leverage on it. I'll just leverage that in. Now I can pull it off. There we go. So it pops straight off. Oh, well, don't do that. Don't break the board. But you know what I mean. I'll show you what it looks like after I've finished. So it got a bit screwed up, broke in the middle. But don't worry about these ones. I mean, if you're processing it yourself, don't even worry, because I think the main thing is that you keep these things on. There's silver in there as well. Just keep them on. You know, little components, IC chips. As long as they're all intact, you know, you can still make some money. I've took off all the capacitors, basically broke the board in half. You have to be careful with this, wear a mask. I mean, I can talk, but because it's got fibres in it. But I mean, if you just wanted to process this, you still can. Still find some little bits off it. But the main part is that you've got the copper. So there, this big bugger, I smashed it with a hammer. There's a coil of like copper within that. I'll process that. That just unravels out. So that there, we call it millberry. So it's like a thread, copper thread, and that looks like this. See, so it's like a copper thread. It's like robotic pubes. But yeah, there's still some money in it. I mean, there's not much weight. It pay a bit less, but you know, it's all copper at the end of the day. That's what that looks like, and I'll just chuck that in my low grade box there. And this was another one. This one was probably one I didn't actually butcher. Still capacitors on there I need to take off, but yeah. I took off a lot of stuff there. There were heat sinks and everything on this. That's just, you know, a bit of basic processing there for you. You know, and if you want some more videos on how to do this, or, you know, just ask me in the comments. Any suggestions as well, just let me know. And then check out E-Waste Ben as well. He's brilliant for this sort of stuff. He's the guy that I got the information of how to do this. So, you know, if you're in the Perth region, like I said, proper copper, we buy these motherboards, so come to us. I've got a video up as well with the prices that we do it for, or just send me a message and bring them down. I can help you out. All right, till next time guys, keep scrapping. See you soon.